The twin flame journey is one of the most intense and transformative experiences a soul can undergo. It is a connection unlike any other, drawing two individuals together with a force that transcends time, space, and logic. But with this profound bond comes an equally profound challenge: the runner chaser dynamic. The twin flame runner is the one who, out of fear, confusion, or emotional overwhelm, withdraws from the connection. While the reasons behind their actions may vary, their behavior often follows a predictable pattern. If you are the one left standing in the wake of their retreat, understanding their actions can offer clarity, healing, and a sense of purpose. When a runner pulls away, it's easy to get lost in overanalyzing their actions, questioning their intentions, or even blaming yourself. But the truth is, their behaviors are messages, signals of where they are on their spiritual path and what they are struggling to process. Recognizing these patterns is essential, not just to understand them better, but to also see what this journey is teaching you about yourself. The following are 7 twin flame runner behaviors you should never ignore. Number 1, they become emotionally distant and unavailable. One of the first and most obvious signs of a twin flame runner is their emotional withdrawal. At first, the connection might feel deep, effortless, and almost surreal. But then something shifts. They start pulling away, becoming cold, distant, or indifferent. Conversations that once flowed naturally become short and forced. The warmth in their eyes dims, and their energy feels heavy with resistance. This emotional distancing is often rooted in fear. The connection between twin flames exposes everything, both light and shadow. It brings out wounds, insecurities, and suppressed emotions that have been buried for lifetimes. For many runners, this overwhelming intensity is too much to handle, and the only way they know how to cope is by shutting down. If your twin flame has suddenly become emotionally unavailable, it is not because they do not care. It is because they care too much. The depth of what they feel frightens them, and their instinct is to retreat into their inner shell. While it's painful to witness, understanding that their withdrawal is not personal can help you navigate this phase with more compassion and less self-doubt. Instead of chasing after them or demanding answers, allow them the space they need. Focus on your own emotional well-being and healing. Their distance is not a rejection. It is a reflection of their inner battle. Number 2, they avoid conversations about the connection. When a twin flame runner starts feeling overwhelmed, they often avoid any discussions about the nature of your bond. They may act as if nothing is happening or downplay the connection altogether. You might hear them say things like, "I don't believe in twin flames," or "maybe we're just overthinking this." This avoidance is not because they do not feel the connection. On the contrary, they feel it so intensely that acknowledging it would force them to face emotions they are not ready to process. Denial becomes a coping mechanism, a way to escape the responsibility of the connection. It is important not to push them into discussions they are not prepared for. While open communication is crucial in any relationship, forcing someone to confront something they are actively resisting will only push them further away. Instead, trust in the process. Your twin flame will come to their own realizations in their own time. Use this period to deepen your own understanding of the journey. Learn to sit with your emotions rather than seeking external validation. The more you align with your own inner truth, the more you create an energetic space for your twin flame to do the same. Number 3, they engage in hot and cold behavior. One moment, they are deeply engaged, expressing love, passion, and excitement. The next, they are withdrawn, distant, or even acting like they don't care. This erratic behavior is one of the most frustrating aspects of the runner phase, leaving the chaser feeling confused and emotionally exhausted. This push and pull dynamic is a direct reflection of the runner's inner conflict. A part of them is magnetically drawn to you, unable to resist the soul recognition, but another part of them is terrified, afraid of losing control, of being vulnerable, of facing their deepest wounds. If your twin flame is exhibiting hot and cold behavior, it is crucial to avoid internalizing it. This is not about you being unworthy or unlovable. This is about their own unresolved fears surfacing. The best approach is to remain steady in your own energy. Do not react emotionally to their inconsistencies. Instead, Focus on your own grounding, healing, and self-love. The more stable you are within yourself, the more their own energy will begin to mirror that balance. Number 4, they distract themselves with other relationships or activities. Many twin flame runners seek refuge in distractions. This could manifest as throwing themselves into work, excessive socializing, or even entering relationships with others to avoid facing the connection. Seeing your twin flame involved with someone else can be one of the most painful aspects of the journey. It might feel like betrayal, but it is not. These distractions are not replacements for you. They are temporary escapes. They are ways for the runner to avoid their true feelings and delay the inevitable spiritual growth that the twin flame journey demands. Understanding this can help you detach from feelings of resentment or jealousy. The best thing you can do in this situation is to stay aligned with your own journey. Do not compare yourself to others or get caught in the illusion that they have moved on. The twin flame bond is not something that can be erased or replaced. Number 5, they become defensive or angry for no apparent reason. When a twin flame runner is overwhelmed by emotions they do not fully understand, they may react in ways that seem confusing or even hurtful. One of the most common ways they express their inner struggle is through defensiveness or bursts of anger. You may notice that even simple conversations turn into arguments, or they seem irritated by things that never bothered them before. Their mood may shift unexpectedly, leaving you feeling like you are walking on eggshells around them. This anger is rarely about you. It is a reaction to the deep emotions and fears that the connection brings to the surface. Your presence acts as a mirror, reflecting back parts of themselves they are not ready to face. This can include unresolved wounds from their past, fears of vulnerability, or a resistance to change. Instead of dealing with these emotions in a healthy way, they project their frustration outward, often onto the person closest to them, you. Sometimes, their anger comes from feeling out of control. The twin flame connection is not something they can rationalize or escape from easily, and that realization can be terrifying. They may lash out because they do not know how to process what they are feeling. They may also become defensive when you bring up the connection, rejecting the idea that something deeper is happening because acknowledging it would mean confronting their own fears and insecurities. While it is painful to be on the receiving end of their anger, it is important to remember that their emotions are theirs to work through. The best thing you can do is not take their reactions personally. Instead of engaging in arguments or trying to convince them to see things differently, hold space for them while protecting your own peace. If they need time and distance, give it to them. Setting boundaries is crucial. Just because you understand their struggle does not mean you should tolerate being treated unfairly. Over time, as they continue their own journey of healing and self-discovery, they will begin to recognize that their anger was never about you. It was about the inner turmoil they were avoiding. Your role is not to fix them or absorb their emotions, but to focus on your own healing and trust that, when they are ready, they will come to terms with their feelings in their own time. Number 6, they try to convince themselves and you that the connection isn't real. A twin flame runner may go to great lengths to deny the connection. They might act as if nothing significant is happening between you or dismiss the idea of twin flames altogether. You may hear them say things like, "This is just in your head," or "We're just overthinking this." They might insist that the intense emotions they feel are temporary or that they are simply not ready for a relationship. This behavior is not because they do not feel the connection. It is because they feel it too deeply. The intensity of a twin flame bond is unlike anything they have ever experienced, and it challenges everything they thought they knew about love, relationships, and themselves. Admitting that this connection is real means acknowledging that they are on a path of spiritual transformation, and that can be incredibly overwhelming. Denying the connection gives them a sense of control. If they can convince themselves that it is not real, then they do not have to face the deep emotional work that comes with it. They do not have to acknowledge their fears, wounds, or the fact that their life may never be the same again. This is why they may not only try to convince themselves, but also you, that what you share is just a coincidence or a phase. As difficult as it is to hear these words from your twin flame, it is important not to let them shake your belief in what you know to be true. Their denial is not a reflection of reality. It is a defense mechanism. The more you try to argue or prove the connection, the more they will resist. Instead, let them go through their own process. Rather than focusing on their words, pay attention to their actions. Even when they try to distance themselves, there are always signs that they still feel the bond. They may check in on you, find excuses to be around you, or struggle to fully walk away. Deep down, they cannot escape the connection any more than you can. The best thing you can do is stand firm in your own truth. Trust in what you feel, regardless of what they say. The more at peace you are with the connection, the more space you create for them to come to their own realizations. In time, they will see what their soul already knows. This connection is real, and it is guiding them towards something far greater than their fears. Number 7, they leave, but keep. One of the most undeniable signs of a twin flame runner is that no matter how far they go, they always return. They may cut off communication, disappear for long periods, or try to move on with their lives, but something always pulls them back. You may experience cycles of separation and reunion, where just when you think they are gone for good, they resurface unexpectedly. This happens because the bond between twin flames is unbreakable. Unlike ordinary relationships, this connection is not based on logic, personal preference, or even free will in the traditional sense. It is a soul contract, a divine connection that exists beyond the physical realm. No matter how much the runner tries to suppress it, the pull between you remains. Each time they return, it is because they have reached a new level of understanding, even if they do not fully realize it yet. The time apart allows them to grow, heal, and process their emotions. When they come back, it is often because their soul is guiding them towards something they are not yet able to put into words. They may not stay for long, especially if they are still working through their fears, but their return is proof that the connection is still very much alive within them. For the one on the receiving end of this back and forth dynamic, it can be frustrating and emotionally draining. It is natural to want stability and clarity, but the twin flame journey rarely follows a predictable path. Instead of focusing on when they will stay permanently, shift your attention to your own growth. The more you align with your higher self, the more you create an energetic foundation for a lasting union. This cycle of leaving and returning is not meant to hurt you. It is part of the process. Each separation teaches both of you something valuable. The more you embrace the journey with trust and patience, the more you allow divine timing to unfold. In the end, no matter how many times they leave, the connection will always lead them back. The key is to focus on your own healing, so that when they do return, you are both in a place of greater balance, understanding, and readiness for the love that is destined to be. The twin flame journey is not just about being with your counterpart. It is about self-discovery, healing, and spiritual evolution. Every challenge you face along the way is meant to bring you closer to your highest self. When your twin flame runs, it is not a sign that the journey is failing. It is a sign that both of you have more growing to do before you can come into true harmony. Instead of seeing their behavior as rejection, try to see it as a reflection of the work that still needs to be done on both sides. This journey is not about chasing or convincing someone to stay. It is about standing in your own power and trusting that what is meant for you will never truly be lost. Separation is not the end. It is a period of transformation. It allows both twin flames to break free from old patterns, heal emotional wounds, and prepare for a deeper union. The most important thing you can do during this phase is focus on yourself. Nurture your own healing, pursue your passions, and strengthen your connection with the universe. The more you align with your own soul's path, the more you create an energetic space for your twin flame to do the same. Growth happens on both sides, even if you cannot see it right now. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. No amount of distance, silence, or resistance can break the bond between twin flames. When the time is right, the universe will bring you back together in a way that is healthier, stronger, and more aligned with your highest good. Until then, let go of fear, surrender to the process, and know that love, True, divine love will always find its way home.